Hey, I'm Ryan C. Greene, founder of Greenhouse Media, and today we're talking all about being born to be dope. I'm gonna jump right in. Well, I'll simply ask you one question. You know what question I hate, and it's not that it's a question is a bad question. It's not that anything nefarious about the question, but think about whenever you meet someone, right? Whether it's a professional environment, whether it's a cookout, whatever it may be, you're going to meet someone. They'll typically ask you what your name is. They may ask you who invited you, where you're from, and then eventually they're going to ask you, what do you do? Like that's the question. What do you do? And again, it's not that the question itself is so bad, but when people ask you, what do you do? Well, the first 3 or 4 questions of meeting you, what are they really doing, right? Are they not kind of ranking you in their mind or evaluating where they're going to put you as far as level of respect, what you can do for them, or how they're going to treat you going forward based on your answer to that one question, what do you do? And don't believe me, check this out, right? If I meet someone, or if you meet someone new and you ask them, well, what do you do? And their answer is, well, I'm a pediatrician. You're probably going to be like, oh, okay. But if you ask that same question, what do you do, to that same person, they tell you that they're a pole dancer. You're probably going to be like, oh. Right? Because you're already judging someone based on their answer to that one question, what do they do? But really, what should we be thinking about, right? When we meet someone or you are trying to build your own life and your own career, you really should be asking yourself the question, who are you? Right? Who are you? What is it that makes you? What value are you bringing? What makes you special to the world? Like, who are you? And if you think about who you are and you really start to really strive to answer that question in a way that pleases you, who you are, it kind of leaves clues, right? I'm thinking back to myself. I grew up in the mean streets of Baltimore, where sometimes it was easier to find trouble than it was to find a good crab cake, right? All right, I'm lying. I didn't grow up in the mean streets. I grew up in the suburbs of Baltimore. I grew up in a pretty good neighborhood. We had, good friends and things. Wasn't a lot of trouble where I was. But the point is, growing up back in that neighborhood, I remember in 9th grade, in high school, we had to take these functional tests. I don't know if you had to do the same thing, but in high school, we had to take tests in 9th grade that you had to pass in order to graduate from high school. So when taking those tests, we had a math test, we had a reading test. We also had a writing test. And in 9th grade, I took that writing test and I got a perfect score on the writing test. And my reward for that perfect score on that writing test was that in 10th grade, they placed me in gifted and talented English. Now, I know today, gifted and talented is just the classes that they put the 30 best behaved kids in so that they stay out of trouble, right? But back then, when I was in high school, being gifted and talented, you actually had to be either gifted or talented. Now, I'm still trying to figure out which one I was, still trying to figure out how I got in that class. But the point is, there was 6 people in that class. Now, I know you look at this guy right now in front of you, Ryan Greene, born to be dope, and I'm fly and all that kind of stuff, right? But in high school, I was what we called back then a cornball. Okay. Now, if you're laughing and you know what a cornball means, like a cornball was like one step above being a nerd, right? A nerd meant you were smart and maybe a little corny, but you didn't have a whole lot of friends, right? Being a cornball just meant you were smart and corny, but you may have had a few friends, right? Like I played sports, so people knew me, so I had a few friends. So I was a cornball. Well, not a cool dude at all, right? But I had friends. But I didn't want to be a cornball the rest of my life, right? So when I got put into this class, I was taken out of my honors English class and put in this class with 6 people. I said, oh my goodness, now I'm going to be a nerd. They're going to see me as a nerd. This is the worst thing that can happen to me, because when they put me in a class, they didn't tell me why I was in the class, right? They just took, hey, you're in this gifted and talented English class now. So I did what any 10th grader who wanted to rebel against the system at that time and who was trying to get, raise his social status did. I for the next 2 years, I deliberately tried to fail out of gifted and talented English. By 12th grade, they finally granted my wish and said, okay, we can't justify keeping you in this class anymore because you keep failing. So we're going to put you back in honors English. So 12th grade, I was so excited. I went back into honors English with my 30 friends. I'm thinking, okay, I'm back at it. They're going to see me now as no longer being a cornball. But you know what happened? That 12th grade year, got in that class, and all those friends who I tried so hard to get out of gifted and talented English to be around, all still saw me as a cornball. Yep. See, I had sabotaged my whole success, because now I was a cornball in the gifted in honors class, and now I had D's and E's in my report card, right? So I had sabotaged my success because I was always trying to get the approval from someone else. How many of you been there where you've done something that you shouldn't have done, or something that ended up hurting you because you were chasing the approval for someone else, right? And then you get there and realize that they want to always see you how they see you, no matter what. So that happened to me. By 12th grade, I got out of that class. But I just always wonder, what if they had told me back then, hey, Ryan, we see a gift in you in writing, and that perhaps this is where you should be because of this, as opposed to just saying, hey, you're in this gifted and talented English class and not telling me why. And I say that because as I look back over my life, after that, I graduated from high school. I went on to college at Hampton University. And the first thing I did there was I started a singing group, right? I started a singing group. Our goal was to be the next Boys to Men. All right. I was going to be Mike McCray. And then, we had everybody else. We were going to be the next Boys to Men. Spoiler alert, didn't happen. The singing career never took off. But what I did discovered during that time, during those 4 years of trying to become a singer in college, was that I was a gifted songwriter, right? I fell in love with songwriting, written over 100 songs in that time frame. And my goal then was to really go out now, become a songwriter. I was like, well, if I can't sing, I can't be in a group, I can at least be the next Babyface, right? I go out there and sing, write and produce. And from there, I started my first business after college was as a publisher and songwriter with ASCAP. Okay, so I'm still registered songwriter and publisher now. But that was my first business as a songwriter. From there, I got started in a few years after graduation. I was introduced to the network marketing industry. Don't worry, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. But in that industry, I was introduced to personal development. I was introduced to the idea of just reading books for edification, not for education, right? So up until then, only time I read a book was because my teacher told me to. But I realized that there was a thing about books, a thing about the power of words that really could change your life, change the lives of people who were reading them, and it just stuck with me. So from there, I began actually doing trainings. And the first mentor I had in the training business told me, if you're going to be a speaker, if you want to be a trainer, you need to write a book. And I said, write a book, man. I just started reading books, right? We started writing a book. So, but I followed that. I did what he said, and I wrote my first book. Published a book in 2005, Success is in Your Hand. But when I wrote the book, I knew then, I said, well, my goal was always to be an entrepreneur, right? So I said, well, I'm going to write a book. I need to actually start a publishing company. So in 2005, I started the publishing company. Back then it was called Bakari Book Publishers, which was with Haley for One with Great Promise. And I was like, if I'm going to write a book, I'm actually going to start a business. I want to publish other people's books. And that's what I did. So from 2004 up until, I can't remember what year I stopped publishing other people's books, but I published other people's books, right? And that was it. I was a writer and a publisher. Now I have 12 books that I've either written myself or co-authored, published hundreds of books, coached hundreds and really thousands of authors across the world that I've coached and helped them write in their books as well as market their books. And I say all that to say, looking back in 9th grade, who was I? I was a writer, right? When I got to college, I was a writer, right? After that, when I started my publishing company, I was a writer. Now I do sales writing. So I've written sales pages for some of the biggest names in the personal development industry. I've written email marketing copy, social media marketing copy. I've ghostwritten books for some people that if you knew they didn't write the book themselves, you'd be mad that you paid your money for that book because someone else wrote the book with their name on it. Because that's just who I am. So I look back over life of who am I? No matter what you ask me, what do I do? Like if you asked me 5 years ago, what do I do? My answer would have been different than if you asked me 10 years ago, what do I do? But if you ask me, who am I? I've always been a writer. So I'm asking you today, like, who are you? Right? Don't forget about what you do, because what you do is going to change, can change. Like if nothing else, we've seen in 2020, when the pandemic hit, a lot of people's answers to what do you do changed, right? They're no longer doing what they do, but who they are or who you are is always going to be there. And that's what happens in life. You got to be able to know who you are, because if you keep hanging your idea of success on what you do, when that changes, you start asking yourself and start questioning yourself about your own value. You start questioning, are you really worth anything? But when you focus on who you are, that's when it doesn't matter what you're doing in the moment. You always know, here's who I am. This is what I lead with, and this is what the value I bring to the world. Okay. And that's what being born to be dope is all about. Born to be dope is a combination. I took the most powerful cultural force in the world, hip hop, in which we came up in, and combined that with personal development. And it's all about being a celebration of being unapologetically great at being you. Because see, I think a lot of times what I've learned and experienced is that so many of us are so focused on trying to answer that question of what do we do, not because of what we want to do, but because of how we want other people to respond to our answer, right? So you've been chasing a dream that wasn't yours. You've been chasing an answer to a question that you didn't really even want that answer to be your answer. So Born to be Dope is all about just understanding what it is that makes you special, what it is that gives you that special sauce, that makes you unique and makes you dope, because we're all born to be dope in some aspect, right? But we have to be able to tap into that. So that's what this is all about. That's what Born to be Dope was founded to do. Help you, empower you, encourage you to go out there and just be you. Tap into what it is that makes you you. Stop trying to be everybody else. Stop trying to be a carbon copy of what you've seen, right? Stop trying to dress like someone else because they say, oh, well, here's all the successful people that are dressing like this, or all the successful people are making videos like this, or all the successful people are going to this place. Listen, all the carbon copies might be doing that, but if you want to stand out in the marketplace, if you want to be special, if you want to know what really tap into the power of you, then it's all about being dope, being unapologetically great at being you, doing it your way. All right, stop worrying about the approval of other people. Once you really tap into being you, your tribe will come, right? People are like, I've been looking for someone just like you who can speak to me in that way. So that's what Born to be Dope is all about. And what we do is a three-pronged approach. We help you master, magnify, and monetize your unique dopeness so that you can have maximum success in business and life. So let's start with number one is master. Okay, what does master mean? Master is simply you want to know who you are and be unapologetically great at being the best at that. Okay, who are you? Like I said, if I'm using myself. If I'm a writer, then I need to be the best writer I can be. And by being the best, that's one that takes the talent to actually do the craft, but also you have to be a student. Okay, if you want to master what it is that you want to be and be the best at it, you got to be a student of the game. Okay, you got to constantly be learning. You may be a leader to some, but you got to be a student to others as well, right? You got to be able to master being that. You can't be average. You can't just say, okay, this is what I know, this is what I'm gonna teach about, and you've never done any work to actually grow in that area, right? You never don't have the experience level to even answer the hard questions when it gets to that, right? You can have people following you on a journey that you've never been on. So you got to be able to master that. We're talking about being dope. Find out what it is that makes you you and go out there and master that. Be the best at being that, okay? Number two is magnify. And this is the part I like. This is what we do with Born to be Dope. And what we're doing now with our brand is that we're helping people magnify their expertise, magnify their brand, magnify their dopeness. Our chosen vessel, our chosen way of doing that is through visual storytelling. So we are going out there and we help people. We build projects that, whether it be a group project or anthology compilation or whether it be individual, we go out there and we help you create compelling video content, visual content to sell your story, to magnify your brand, magnify your message in a way that's going to resonate with the marketplace. So people are going to see it on a level that's different than everyone else, okay? That really want, to help you stand out. So we help you magnify that, magnify your message in that way, okay? So you can help expand your reach, so you can help grow what it is that you're trying to do, but also spread your message to a larger audience, okay? Now, number three is monetize, okay? Systems make money, okay? I understand that in our place of business, we're all about helping people. When I know I want to help this group and I want to empower and encourage this group. But listen, we're in business, okay? Let's stop acting like we're not trying to make money, okay? So we're talking about monetization. You have to have systems in place. You have to that's going to help people go through a ecosystem in your business that's going to eventually generate revenue for you, okay? Your expertise is great. The information that you share is wonderful and it will help people. But at the end of the day, if you're not out there monetizing that, if you're not out there positioning yourself where that you can take money out of the way, because here's the thing, right? You may have a great message that can help people, but you're not making money from that message. So you still got a regular job, right? But then someone who needs your message, they need it at a time that conflicts with your work schedule. What are you going to do? Right? Most times you're going to go to work. You're not trying to lose your job, right? But when you can monetize your message and start to position yourself in a way that financially you're in a much better situation, that you are available to serve the people you've called to serve, as opposed to serving someone else that you call boss. That's why monetization is so important. That's why even if you're in a giving, in a service environment, it's still important that you make money, okay? So that you can go out there and be the service that you are called to be. So Born to be Dope, this platform that we've built, I've taken this idea and we have built an entire platform to help speakers and authors do just that: magnify, master, and monetize their unique dopeness. Okay, so Born to be Dope, it's so many things we put together with it, where we did, first and foremost, the first visual mixtape in the industry. Now, what is a visual mixtape, Ryan? Well, visual mixtape is we've taken some of the top speakers, some of the top experts, put them in a feature film and combine it with hip hop music. So if you know hip hop music and hip hop mixtape, but think about it visually, where you've got some of the best speakers all combined into a film sharing their expertise about being born to be dope. We released that, the first one. And now, it was a huge success. People loved it. It just built that platform for others to really have an opportunity to share their message. And with that platform, also, there was a visual, there was a live conference. Okay, we did a virtual conference. We're doing live conferences. So now think about an opportunity to have not only be in a film, but to put yourself on stage where you can now share your message again to a wider, larger audience. But didn't stop there, because we also had an audio book where now every speaker was also a published author through the audio book, the Born to be Dope audio book that we did. We even launched a clothing line from it. There's a podcast and television show. So this whole Born to be Dope thing is not just a fun slogan. This is a movement. This is a lifestyle. This is also an opportunity not just to help people, but to also position yourself as a speaker and a brand on a platform that's going to help go out there and share your message. So I want to do something for you, because if you're watching, I want to make sure that I want to give you an opportunity to see the mixtape that we did, see some of the people that we had in it. We had Dr. Cheryl Wood, we had Kareem Ellis, we had BET executive Tayel Hayes. We even had Dr. Elizabeth Carter was part of our Born to be Dope experience. So I want you to go ahead and see it. I want you to text the word dope, DOPE, text the word dope to 614-333-0338. Again, that's 614-333-0338. Text the word dope to that number. You're going to get a link that's going to give you access to watch the film for free. Okay. And now, normally we charge people for this film, but I'm going to give you access for being an attendee here at this event. You can watch the film for free, but also you'll get information on how you can be part of the next taping. Okay, the casting call is open for our next filming. So if you like what you see and say, you know what, I want to be on that kind of platform, here's your opportunity to do that. Just text the word dope to 614-333-0338. You'll get information on how you can get your free viewing of the film, but also how you can get information on how you can be involved with the next casting as we're getting ready to ramp up for production for the next Born to be Dope. So here's what I want to leave you with. I want to leave you with this. Listen, quite simply, you were born to be dope. This we've seen over the last few years, whether it be through the pandemic, whether it be through the economy, whatever it is, we have all seen that life ain't waiting for any of us, right? You don't know what's around the corner. We're not always promised tomorrow, and things can change in a blink of an eye. So if you are ready to go out there and really do what you were called to do, right? Live in your purpose. Be who you are called to be, and just focus on who you are rather than focusing on what you do. That's what I want to encourage you. That's what Born to be Dope is about. I want to encourage you to do that now. As you're going through all these workshops today, you're going and enjoying this summit. Make sure that you are really focused on what is it that makes me me. What am I passionate about doing? What makes me, who am I, and how can I go out there and be unapologetically great at being me? That's where your secret to success is, going out there and being you. Stop trying to worry about being everybody else. So listen, I am Ryan C. Greene. I want to thank you for your time today. I look forward to working with you, hopefully on our next project. But if not, we'll work together in some other aspect. I look forward to just watching you go out there and be dope. So again, I appreciate your time. Wishing you all the best. Go out there and be dope.